In a faraway kingdom surrounded by green valleys and shimmering rivers, there lived a princess named Aubergina, known across the lands for her grace, compassion, and deep violet gowns that matched the twilight skies. She was not like the other royals who stayed hidden behind tall castle walls. Every morning, she would walk through the village with her golden basket, filled with bread and fruit, and greet every child, farmer, and traveler with a kind smile. Her laughter carried warmth, and wherever she went, the people bowed not out of duty but out of love. Her kingdom, Mirandia, was a land of joy, where music played in the streets, markets glowed with color, and flowers painted every path in hues of pink and gold. But one fateful day, everything began to change. It started quietly, birds stopped singing, and the sky grew dim though no clouds were seen. A pale mist crept from the mountains and slowly covered the kingdom like a silent spell. The air felt heavy, and the rivers turned dull, losing their sparkle. Within days, the fields dried, flowers withered, and a strange sadness spread among the people. The once beautiful Mirandia seemed trapped under a shadow no one could explain. The royal scholars searched through old scrolls and legends until one ancient record revealed a chilling truth. A curse had been cast upon Mirandia long ago, one that would awaken every 100 years unless a pure-hearted soul restored the crystal of bloom. That night, as Princess Aubergina lay in her chamber, unable to sleep, she heard a soft melody drifting through her window. A gentle golden light filled her room, and from it appeared a beautiful fairy with wings like sunlight. The fairy's voice was calm yet powerful as she said, "Princess Aubergina, the land you love is fading. Only one with a heart pure as moonlight can lift this curse. You must seek the crystal of bloom, hidden deep within the whispering forest. But beware, this forest does not yield to those who doubt their heart." The princess wanted to ask more, but the fairy vanished, leaving behind a single silver feather that shimmered with light. At dawn, Aubergina prepared for her journey. She wore a simple violet cloak and tied her hair back with a silk ribbon. Her parents, the king and queen, tried to stop her, fearing the dangers beyond the castle walls, but she held their hands and said softly, "If I do nothing, our people will suffer. I must go, not as a princess, but as a daughter of Mirandia." With those words, she mounted her loyal white horse, Luma, and rode toward the edge of the kingdom. As she approached the whispering forest, the air grew colder. The trees were tall and dark, their branches tangled like old secrets. Every few steps, she heard faint whispers calling her name. Yet she did not turn back. The deeper she went, the thicker the mist became. Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the bushes, and a small fox appeared before her. But this was no ordinary fox, it had golden eyes that glowed like embers. "Princess Aubergina," it said in a gentle voice, "many have entered this forest seeking the crystal, but only those who walk with truth in their heart can find it. The forest will test your soul." She bowed slightly and thanked the fox for its wisdom, promising to stay true to herself. The fox smiled and disappeared into the trees, leaving behind a faint trail of light to guide her path. As night began to fall, Aubergina found herself standing before a wide, glowing river. The water shimmered faintly under the moon, but shadows moved beneath the surface. Suddenly, ghostly figures rose from the water, spirits of the ancient guardians. Their voices echoed as one, "Why have you come here, mortal child? What do you seek in the heart of the whispering forest?" Aubergina's voice trembled at first but grew steady as she spoke. "I seek not power nor glory. I seek the crystal of bloom to save my people and restore the beauty of Mirandia." The spirits circled her, their eyes glowing like cold stars. "Many have spoken such words," they hissed, "but truth lies not in speech, it lives in the heart." Then they vanished beneath the surface, and for a moment, all was still. Just as she began to doubt, a beam of silver light rose from the river, forming a bridge made of moonlight. She realized that her honesty had opened the way. Gently guiding her horse across, she reached the other side and looked back to see the bridge fading behind her. Her heart raced, not from fear, but from wonder. As she stood beneath the forest's towering shadows, the whispering voices turned softer, almost like a lullaby. She could feel that the real challenge was still ahead, that the true test of her courage and kindness had only begun. Holding the fairy's silver feather close to her heart, Princess Aubergina took a deep breath and stepped further into the unknown, guided by faith, love, and the hope of saving her kingdom. Princess Aubergina continued her journey through the whispering forest, her footsteps echoing softly over moss and fallen leaves that glowed faintly under the moonlight. The air was heavy with magic, ancient and alive. Strange flowers swayed without wind, and glowing butterflies fluttered around her as if showing her the way. Luma, her loyal horse, walked carefully, its hooves making no sound. Every few minutes, the princess felt the forest watching her, as though invisible eyes were testing every beat of her heart. Though fear tried to grow inside her, she kept remembering her people, the laughter of children, the smiles of the farmers, and the warmth of her home in Mirandia. That memory gave her strength. As the night deepened, she came upon a valley filled with silver mist. In its center stood a great stone gate covered in strange carvings. The moment she approached, the carvings began to glow, and a deep voice filled the air. "Only one who carries the light of truth may enter," it said. Aubergina placed her hand on her chest and spoke softly, "I do not seek greatness or treasure. I only wish to save my kingdom from sorrow." The gate shone brightly, and slowly it began to open, revealing a tunnel of golden light leading into the mountain. With courage, she stepped inside. The passageway led to a vast cave where crystals hung from the ceiling like stars frozen in time. Each crystal hummed softly, filling the cave with an enchanting sound. In the middle of it stood a mirror taller than any man, framed with golden vines that seemed to move as if alive. The air around it shimmered, and a voice whispered from within, "To find the crystal of bloom, you must first face the shadow in your soul." Aubergina stared at her reflection, expecting to see herself as she was, but the figure that looked back at her was different. Her reflection's eyes were darker, colder, and a cruel smile spread across its face. The reflection spoke, "You think you are pure and kind, but you are like all others. You wish to be remembered as a hero, to wear the crown of light and have the world bow to you." The princess stepped back, shaken. "No," she whispered, "I only want to protect my people." The shadow laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "If you truly cared for them, why risk your life for a kingdom that barely knows your name? Stay here, take the crystal, and use its power for yourself. Rule the world and never be forgotten." For a moment, Aubergina felt doubt stir inside her. She thought about how lonely her life had been in the palace, how the people praised her but never truly knew her heart. The idea of keeping the crystal for herself tempted her like a sweet whisper in the dark. But then she closed her eyes and remembered the faces of her parents, the children who ran to greet her in the village, and the farmers who bowed with smiles of gratitude. She remembered how it felt to comfort a crying child, to share her food with the poor, and to see happiness bloom in others' hearts. She opened her eyes and said firmly, "Power without love means nothing. I do not want to rule. I only want my people to live in light again." Her shadow screamed in rage, the cave trembling as cracks spread across the mirror. A blinding flash filled the room, and when the light faded, the reflection was gone. In its place, floating in midair, was the crystal of bloom, glowing with colors that danced like dawn after a storm. Aubergina stepped forward and held it gently in her hands. The warmth of the crystal spread through her, filling her with peace. The moment she touched it, the curse began to lift. The cave brightened, and beams of light burst from the mountain, shooting across the sky. Far away in Mirandia, people awoke to see the mist dissolving and the rivers sparkling again. The flowers bloomed brighter than ever before, and the birds sang as if welcoming life back to the land. Aubergina mounted her horse and rode home through the forest, now glowing with golden leaves. The whispering voices that had once tested her now sang softly, blessing her journey. When she arrived at the castle gates, the people rushed to greet her, their eyes filled with tears of joy. The king and queen embraced her tightly, whispering how proud they were of her bravery and heart. Just then, the golden fairy appeared once again, shining even brighter than before. "Princess Aubergina," the fairy said, "you have proven that true magic lies not in strength but in compassion. You faced your own darkness and chose light." The fairy touched the crystal in her hand, and it transformed into a crown of pure light, resting gently upon her head. From that day onward, Mirandia flourished like never before. Crops grew richer, the rivers flowed clearer, and the skies stayed bright. Princess Aubergina ruled with wisdom and kindness, never forgetting the lessons she learned in the forest. Every spring, when violet flowers blossomed across the valleys, the people celebrated Aubergina Day, remembering the princess who saved them not with power, but with love and a pure heart that outshone all darkness.